Well, despite dire predictions, last year's cotton crop turned out okay for area farmers. You may remember the season got off to a rough start because of the rainy weather, which delayed planting for 2 months. And while some growers did miss the planting deadline, last year's crop really wasn't bad.
This year, we're probably looking all total across all commodities that we produce, probably in the neighborhood of about $150 million is what's going to be generated in production agricultural sales across the county.
And that's not bad. The one big downside to last year was the drop in cotton prices.
That's some good news for farmers as President Trump and China's vice premier signed phase 1 of a $200 billion trade agreement at the White House this morning.
Today we take a momentous step, one that has never been taken before with China, toward a future of fair and reciprocal trade.
Now, the agreement is expected to boost exports from U.S. farmers and manufacturers. The deal is especially great news for American cattle raisers who were essentially banned from importing beef to China for more than a decade.
Well, now to the latest developments up in Washington, where the House officially sent the articles of impeachment over to the Senate this morning. That will formally start the process. The House vote today was almost entirely along party lines. The House also approved the 7 managers who will basically act as the prosecutors in the Senate trial, trying to make the case that the president obstructed Congress and abused his power by urging the Ukraine to investigate his political rivals.
Make it be very clear that this president will be held accountable, that no one is above the law.
This was always an exercise in raw partisan politics.
Now, Chief Justice John Roberts, who will preside over the trial, expected to head to Capitol Hill as soon as tomorrow to begin preparing. Well, time now to get your first look at the weather.
And Chief Meteorologist Dale Nelson joins us now with a look at how our forecast is shaping, Dale.
Well, we saw a little bit of sun today and another day of record warm heat here in South Texas. Lots of fog along the coast, as you can see here on our weather bug camera in the downtown area. Morning low was 70, afternoon high 80 degrees. Both numbers way above normal for this time of the year, and that 80 tied the record set just 3 years ago, back in 2017. What about tomorrow? Is there rain coming? I'll tell you in a few minutes right here.
Well, a new apartment complex that would cater to the elderly could be in the city's near future.
And one crook had an encounter with a Great Dane that he won't soon forget. The story next.
This is Chris 6 News at 10.
Well, happening now, hundreds of migrants are on their way towards the United States in a caravan that set off from Honduras. They started out before dawn on foot. Most migrant caravans, though, have been broken up by Mexican authorities. They were broken up last year under pressure from President Trump and his administration. Before reaching Mexico, they will have to cross into Guatemala. The U.S. border still more than 1,000 miles away.
Well, tonight's crime of the week is a robbery case. It was all caught on camera, and now police are asking for your help to identify the crook. Now, this happened over the weekend at a store on I-37. Police say this guy pointed a weapon at the clerk in that store, then fired a shot while demanding money. Detectives say he got away with an undisclosed amount of cash. Now, if you know who this guy is, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at 888-TIPS. If your tip leads to an arrest in this case, you could get a cash award. Well, check out this next story about a Great Dane really taking a bite out of crime. This security video shows a crook breaking into a home in Oklahoma City, only to be confronted by 122-pound Dubai. Now, this began as a playful encounter, but once the owner, Tracy McCoy, saw the intruder, she screamed, and that's when Dubai went into attack mode.
The instant that I screamed, Dubai understood that that person was not welcome here.
Now, the suspect was later identified as Robert Ward, and Mr. Ward now faces a first-degree burglary charge.
Good dog. Back here at home, the Corpus Christi City Council has given preliminary approval for a new apartment complex, which will be home to dozens of elderly, disabled, and low-income residents. Yesterday, the council voted to use the $500,000 on a new affordable housing development to be built on 6th Street between Buford and Hancock. If the City Council approves it on the second vote, the money will help build a 4-story apartment complex on this empty lot. It would be called the Fish Pond Living Complex. It is set to feature large units with parking spots. And down the way on Chaparral Street, the tenants that are currently staying at Seagull Villa Apartments could soon be taking up residence at that new complex.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see what it's going to be like.
It might be God that's blessing us with that new apartment. I'm not sure. It's just pure luck.
And work on the new fish pond complex won't take long. Construction is expected to be finished in just over 2 years. The residents may be able to move in around March of 2022.
Well, coming up, learning to code is child's play now at an area elementary school, and that story's coming up.
Isn't that something? Also ahead, why bollards out on Port A are looking a whole lot more festive these days. Plus, our chief meteorologist Dale Nelson has your forecast right after this.